who empties latrines when he's not playing, who breathes in ashes from the ovens, a star who is starving.
You see, the only thing what counts in Birkenau was a piece of bread.
For Louis, music was the food of life. Every time he lifted his horn to his lips, it meant he might be given something to eat. But why on earth would the Nazis want orchestras in the first place?
The Germans are very music-minded. They love music.
But there were much more sinister reasons. You march in time, you walk a little faster. For the Nazis, it was a way to keep order. At 5 o'clock every morning, the orchestra stood at the gates, playing rousing German marches as their fellow prisoners, half dead, went off to work.
It was so clever that only a German can do this. It was done in a perfection. Exactly. When somebody escaped, that was the worst. When they found the men, they killed him. And then we were playing, or I was playing, and everybody has to pass. That happened when you escape.
They wanted to hear music for every occasion.
Screenwriter Ken Schuldman.
They would have musicians playing for firing squads. They would have musicians playing as people were being marched to the gas chambers.
The man who used to play for pleasure was now accompanying Hitler's final solution.
How hard was that for you to play when you knew that these people were going to their death?
You had to try to survive. You are an animal. You are not a normal human being anymore.
And some no longer had the will to live, including Louis' own violin teacher.
He said, Louis, I can live here. It's impossible. I kill myself. I hear the night, bang.
He did.
He was on the wire. He killed himself.
How did you stay alive in here?
Well, I'll tell you. I was always a person optimistic. My whole life. I was always laughing and making jokes. I know I never come out of here. But
Maybe it was that eternal optimism that kept Louis going. They could ravage his body, but they couldn't crush his spirit.
When I was playing, as long as I have an instrument in my hand, I was the king. You know what I mean with this? I was stronger than Hitler.
On the day the Red Cross finally reaches him, he is delirious and on the brink of death, but he still has his trumpet at his side.
May 6, 1945. I didn't know the war was over. The war was over.
For Louis, there wasn't a lot to celebrate. His mother, a brother, 2 sisters, 41 members of his family slaughtered. Just about everyone he'd grown up with was dead.
Michel de Jong, Hélène Thébault, Simon Philipsen.
How do you feel that you're the only one left?
Well, I bet I don't think.
Louis had a new challenge, how to survive being a survivor. He was alone until he met Flora.
She was the first Jewish girl I saw alive in good shape.
That was it.
Sure.
He asked me to marry him.
What did you think? I mean, you just met him.
Yeah, I think, why not? I am alone. I have no money. I have nothing. Dus let us say yes. And every day he say, I love you.
And even World War II could not destroy his love affair with music.
You know what they say about trumpet players too, Louis? That they're good kissers.
Ask her. I don't know.
Huh, Flora?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
After the war, Louis was as popular as ever. He traveled all over Europe. He even did a stint with the Royal Canadian Artillery Band in Halifax. In 1956, Louis, Flora, and their young son immigrated to Montreal. His French was lousy, but his violin spoke beautifully. Louis was the main attraction at the Queen Elizabeth Hotel, delighting patrons with his gypsy flair. He recorded 7 albums, had his own TV show, he even had a fan club.
It touched you right in the heart.
Guitarist Aurel Lacombe and his cousin Buck both played with Louis, and they remember how much he loved the spotlight.
He was a salesman. He was a music salesman, and he did a hell of a job on it. I often asked him about his experiences in Auschwitz, and he'd rather not talk about it. He said, I'd rather forget about that.
You try to forget, but you can't forget.
Especially when there's a tattoo etched into your arm and your memory. Eventually, Louis went to see a plastic surgeon, Dr. Steve Samuel.
I cut the tattoo out, and the moment that I finished, he sat up. And even to this moment, I get choked up about it because he collapsed around my neck and started to cry. And so did I.
And part of history went away.
But one part of his history will stay forever. Just across the river from the Statue of Liberty in New York City is the Museum of Jewish Heritage. Inside, past the prison garb, the photos, lies Louis Bonnet's lifesaver, his wartime trumpet.
The music that he played in Auschwitz.
Louis was featured in this commercial for the museum, along with Meryl Streep.
What happened was...
The ad's creators were so moved by the story, they wrote a screenplay they're now trying to sell to Hollywood.
He was able to survive all this because he played this simple instrument called the trumpet. It has to give you hope.
Do you ever wonder why you were spared?
No, I can't give you an answer. There's no reason. I was lucky that I play music. That's all there is.
Luck, a miracle, or the indomitable spirit. Louis, almost 90, likes to play along to his old tunes. He's battling cancer, but nothing can take away that joie de vivre. Nothing will ever take away the power of music.